Hey guys, and welcome back to Simon's Rants and my second thought on The Prestige. Quick spoiler warning, if you've never seen this movie, I'm going to be talking about the entirety of the plot, so there's your warning. Don't watch any further if you don't want anything spoiled. So, The Prestige, as with the rest of these movies I've been talking about, is directed by Christopher Nolan. This film stars Hugh Jackman, Christian Bale, Scarlett Johansson, Michael Caine, Rebecca Hall, and Andy Serkis. David Bowie's in this too. And it's a great film. I know I've talked about all of Nolan's films at length before, but this, in my opinion, is his best movie. I think it's one of the best movies ever made. So in case you don't know what the plot is, essentially Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale's characters are two rival magicians. They started out as magician's assistants for the same magician. An accident occurred where Christian Bale's character was responsible for Hugh Jackman's character's wife dying, and they now hate each other and they do everything to one up the other one to any extent. They're willing to kill each other in order to outdo the other one. So this movie, as with the majority of Nolan's movies, is told in a non-linear format where you have Christian Bale's character in court getting sentenced to death, and then you have him in his jail reading Hugh Jackman's journal, and so then you travel through time, and Hugh Jackman's character is reading Christian Bale's journal, so it's all over the place, and it's simply brilliant, the storytelling in this. I saw this a while back, not when it first came out, because it came out in '06, and I was too young for it at the time, but I saw it a few years later, and I did not like it when I first saw it. It confused the crap out of me. I didn't understand who the good guy was. I didn't know who the bad guy was. I was just frustrated. I said that was a depressing movie, and I put it down, not intending to ever watch it again. This was before I knew who Nolan was. This was before I really had embraced film as an art form. It was just, entertainment. I came back to it later and went, hold on, I think I get it now. This is really good. And then I watched it a third time, and I went, wait, this is great. And there's all these things I didn't notice. Every time I watch the movie, there's something new to notice, something new to enjoy. One of the biggest plot points in this whole thing is that Christian Bale's character is actually two characters. He's twins, and he pulls it off phenomenally. The film does it phenomenally. It's very hard to pick up on, but even if you do, there's so many more things going on in this movie. The ending is like 3 plot twists all in a row. So even if you figured out one or the other, you probably don't have everything all figured out when the movie's wrapping up. So you're like, whoa, what's happening? And if you're not ready for it, you might dislike it when you first see it. That's what happened to me. But no, it's great. It really is great. And like I was mentioning, the cast, they're all great actors. There's so many good actors in this. Christian Bale is one of my favorite actors of all time. Scarlett Johansson is one of my favorite actresses of all time. And then Andy Serkis I love as well, and even though his part's small, he always does the most with his small parts, so he's great in this. David Bowie is also surprisingly good. I know he didn't act in a whole lot, but he's good in pretty much everything that I can think of. This movie's just a lot of fun. It's dark, it's twisted. I can't think of really any flaw with this movie. I guess you could have issue with the fact that there's like a fantasy element to it, because like the science fiction of this movie doesn't entirely make sense, where it's like the electricity makes you teleport and duplicate and stuff. There is an element of fantasy, so if you don't like fantasy, you won't really like that. But or if you're just expecting a thriller or science fiction, this does have an element of fantasy in it, so that might throw you for a loop. But that's not anything wrong with the movie. That's just, your expectations going into it. I cannot think of a flaw with this movie. The storytelling is brilliant, the acting is phenomenal, the dialogue, all of it. Like, it's one of the most quotable movies of all time. I adore this movie. I've got it hanging up on my wall over there. It's a great movie. I can't recommend it enough. I think it is perfect, and I don't say that about a lot of movies. I really don't. Because I know no movie is technically perfect. There's always going to be a flaw in every movie, no matter how good the movie is. Citizen Kane has flaws in it. But the film as an art can still be perfect. And this film, in my opinion, is perfect. And It's phenomenal. It's so original too. Like, obviously there's different stories about, you know, people competing or having vengeful attitudes toward each other, or, you know, anything like that. That's, you know, revenge films are a dime a dozen, but this isn't like any of the other ones you've ever seen. Much like I was talking about in Memento, even though Memento is just, you know, your standard revenge flick, there's so much more to it than that. And this is the same kind of thing. It's except even better than Memento, I think. So I'm trying to think of like constructive criticism for this movie, and there's not a whole lot to say. If you guys haven't seen it, you should just see it. Christian Bale's performance alone is just phenomenal. I mean, I think he's always phenomenal, but in this, the little intricacies you see when he's playing one brother versus the other brother, so good, so good. Like, just little things that you pick up more and more the more times you see it. Of course, after you've seen it 20 times, you're like, well, duh. But it's like just little things like one brother is in love with Rebecca Hall's character, the other brother's in love with Scarlett Johansson's character. So when you see them flipped, you can see how he's interacting with them differently than he would have if he was the other brother. And little lines like, so like I said, he was responsible for Hugh Jackman's wife dying because he tied a different knot. Now, one brother did it, the other brother didn't do it. Obviously, they can't both do it. And so Hugh Jackman asks the brother who didn't do it, which knot did you tie? And he says, I've been asking myself that. That's good dialogue. It's really sneaky. It sounds normal, but it's a little hint there. And there's a lot of writing like that that's so good. It's a phenomenal movie. I don't know anybody who dislikes this movie, and it's confusing to me that it only has like an 8 on IMDb. I think it's flawless. So I could rant about this movie for another 20 minutes, but I want to keep it short for you guys. So yeah, what do you guys think of the movie? Let me know in the comments below, and of course don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.